Can a man wear the color pink? Well, of course he can. A man can wear whatever he wants. But why don't more men wear the color pink? What's wrong with it? Well, in the last 60 years, we have seen the color pink become a very feminine color. It's used as a gender marker for women and for girls. So a lot of guys stay away from it. But in today's video, gents, I want to give you 5 reasons why I think pink should be in every man's wardrobe. So in the classic novel, The Great Gatsby, there's a part when Tom Buchanan basically derides Jay Gatsby for wearing a pink suit. Not because it's feminine, but because he said he was an Oxford man and the pink suit was worn by the working class. Now, think about that. So we're 1920s here. Obviously, the pink suit didn't have the feminine attachment to it. Instead, this was simply something that servants and working men wore. Now, that doesn't sound feminine to me. What happened here? When did pink become something that it was associated with women? Well, it happened in the 1950s. That was the big time period when we saw basically people wanting to put gender markers on children. It used to be all kids would wear white clothing, especially babies, but then they wanted to be able to separate, because have you ever looked at a 1-year-old? Oftentimes difficult to tell, is this a boy, is this a girl? So we use clothing, we use colors to easily break this up so that they are addressed properly. Now, this is translated into, and it's kind of arbitrary if you think about it, because blue used to be associated with women. It was associated with the Virgin Mary. Pink was associated with the color red, which was considered a warlike, very strong color. I want you to understand that history so that you can wear pink with confidence. Now, let's get into the 5 tips. Tip number 1 for wearing the color pink with confidence, gentlemen, is that you are a man. You don't need a gender marker of color to indicate to the world that you are a man. Think about, look in the mirror. You've got some facial hair. You have the potential for facial hair. You have a chiseled jaw. You have built up shoulders, a built up chest, overall the physique of a man. When you walk outside, people are very clear that this guy is masculine, that he is a male. Now, you don't need colors to indicate that. Children, I get it. When they're under the age of 1 or 2, their hair isn't super long. You're looking at this kid, is it a boy or a girl? But the point is that you don't need a color to indicate to the world your sex. Simply your silhouette, your build, and who you are should be strong enough. Now, point number 2 is closely related to point number 1, and that is pink has a history as a masculine color. I talked about it up in the intro, but guys, understand that it's just the last 60 years that it's been hijacked by the ladies. Pink is a great color. In fact, it's been described many times as a warlike color. Why is this? Well, think about, where does pink come from? Take the color red, add a little bit of white to it. What do we get? We get pink. And you think about red. Power, strength. You think about the power tie, how red persuades. Red is something that people are attracted to. Pink, a variation of it, and something that has many of the same characteristics. Now let's go back to the working class. You look in 1890, 1900, 1910, 1920, even into 1930, we saw that pink was a color of the working class. Servants would oftentimes wear a pink suit. You saw pink shirts, it was simply one of the colors that was used. And think about it. So blue collar, white collar. We could just as easily have had a pink collar maybe be the working class, but it didn't turn out that way. And hey, but don't discriminate against the color pink simply because in the last 60 years, it has simply gone one direction. Now, point number 3 for wearing pink, gentlemen, is to stand out. Now, this takes courage, because if you look in a room of 100 men wearing suits, most of the shirts are going to be white, they're going to be light blue, or they're going to be patterned white shirts, maybe with a little bit of blue in them. But probably 95% of those shirts are going to be that color. And that makes sense. It's understood. It's conservative. It's what a lot of guys, they don't want to stand out from the crowd. But if you want to, wearing a pink like this, a pastel pink, and I'm not talking about bright pink here. Try to avoid that unless you're going to wear it maybe in an accessory in a very minute amount. But what we're looking for here is for you to have the courage to set yourself apart. In fact, one study, which I'm going to link to in the support article, says that men who wear pink actually make $1,200 more on average per year. Now, I attribute that to the confidence that it takes because if you're going to wear pink, you will have some people ask you about it, maybe make a snide comment. But for just as many people that do that, you're probably going to have 2 to 3 times as many people, first off, take notice of you. And that's important. When you're in a crowded room, you want to separate yourself. But a lot of people are going to say, wow, that guy's got a little bit of confidence. I like his style. That color looks so great. I wish I had the courage to wear pink. Tip number 4, women love the color pink. So I've got a number of studies in which I've read this, and I've gone through, we went through Reddit, we've read through a number of women's magazines talking about things that they like on a man. And the color pink consistently popped up. When they see a man wearing pink, immediately they think confidence. Women are drawn to confident, to men standing out. So that's the number 2, is you simply stand out from the crowd. And the other part is attraction. Women are drawn to the color red and its variants. So right there, they don't even subconsciously, they are drawn to it. Next up, we've got a very practical reason for bringing pink into your wardrobe. It is easy to match. So a lot of guys are asking me, Antonio, I want to change up my wardrobe. I want to bring in something, but God, it's so hard to bring in all those patterns, all those bright colors. Well, you don't have to bring in a bright color. Look at the shirt I'm wearing. This is a very light colored pink. This is going to work with anything that would pretty much go with a white shirt or a light blue shirt. Even this is actually going to match more, in my opinion, than a light blue shirt. Because a light blue shirt with a charcoal gray suit looks okay, but I bring in pink, all of a sudden this brings a bit of body. Now, depending on what your complexion is, there are only a few complexions that have to be careful with pink. And that's basically if you've got a lot of pink in your skin. If you have light colored skin and you get like reddish or a little bit ruddy, the pink can pull that out a bit more. But for black men, for Asian men, for Hispanic men that have darker complexions, for men of Indian descent, you should love the color pink. It is just a great way. It's going to help you stand out. I think it's a very strong color. And guys, I don't know what else to say about this, but if you want more, guess what? I've got a community of over 20,000 men who can help, you can go in there, you can put a picture of yourself wearing a pink shirt, ask what people think in the store before you buy it. And guess what? What I love about my free Facebook group is that the guys respond quickly. They give you good, positive advice. I want you to try something new. I want you to push the envelope on your style. I want you to find what works for you so you can use clothing as a weapon to get what you want out of life. Gentlemen, that's it. Definitely go check out the support article. I go into a lot more detail there. I link over to some of the studies I talked about. And that's it, gentlemen. Take care. I'll see you in the next video.